So this is an absolutely hilarious video that we're going to take a laugh at here. So this is a video actually back from November 6th of 2018. So it's a pretty old video, but it resurfaced on Twitter. Some dude sent it out on Twitter, a clip of the girl from this channel who's a big Jordan Peterson fan for dunking on Dave Rubin. And it's funny, obviously, because it shows that even a Jordan Peterson fan can tell that Dave Rubin is a big-time doof. You feel what I'm saying? So we're going to be taking a look at the clip here. And by the way, I want to say that she is not in any way a good person at all. Obviously, she's a Jordan Peterson fan, but she's literally a white Nash. So not good, very bad. I think she literally has a IQ video, you know what I'm saying? So, and I saw a video on her channel called like changing demographics and birth rates. So we all know the hole that we're going down, right? This is, talking Lauren Southern 2.0 here. So terrible person, horrible person. Nonetheless, this part is funny. We're going to first look at the Dave Rubin clip, and then we're going to laugh at how hilarious this is.
And so Dave Rubin came out and introduced Jordan and told some really cringy jokes about how he was in Amsterdam like 7 years ago and how he had no recollection of it. And yeah, I was just really cringed out by the Dave Rubin thing. Like, I would be really mortified if that was like what my current gig, like being this mediocre hype man for Jordan Peterson who appears on stage for like a total of 10 minutes at every single event. I don't know, it just seemed like, doesn't he have better things to be doing with his time than travel? Well, I don't know, maybe traveling around the world and just introducing Jordan Peterson's it's a really easy gig and it pays well, so maybe he's smart to be doing it. It just seemed a bit cringe. He was also like selling €50 VIP passes to meet him. Like, Dave Rubin was selling tickets so that people could meet him after Jordan Peterson's lecture, which I don't know how many people took him up on that. It didn't really seem like a desirable end to the evening. So anyway, Jordan Peterson.
So that's her clowning Dave Rubin, which I thought was very hilarious, of course. So yeah, it's very true. So Dave Rubin is, I guess, like a hype man for Jordan Peterson, or at least was. And it's really hilarious because something that you guys probably noticed about Dave Rubin, but I don't know if you've really highlighted in your mind, Dave Rubin is a massive bandwagon, right? He follows the hype train. He's a hype beast. So what are some of the trains that Dave Rubin has followed? Obviously, he flipped from left to right, but it was obviously extremely beneficial to do so monetarily as well as brand-wise, and sort of all overseeing, in all different ways. All-encompassing wise, it was beneficial to do so. Now, Dave also, remember, he jumped on the Sam Harris train back when the Sam Harris supporters were out in full force. Remember in 2014 where there were a lot of Harris bots? Now, not that they were literally bots, but that they were, sort of NPC-like figures, if you will, and there's a lot of them. There's a really, hefty Sam Harris fan base, and that pretty much has gone down to zero at this point. There really isn't much of a Sam Harris fan base left. It's mostly been usurped by other members of the dark web, whether it be Ben Shapiro or whether it be, Jordan Peterson. Mostly, I think a lot of them went to. So his audience is kind of phased out. That doesn't really exist anymore. Remember, he had jumped on that train, and then he jumped on the Milo train. Remember, he was big but great buddies with Milo. He's really good buddies with Milo. He's going around talking at colleges with them, being buddy with them. Two gay dudes having a good time together. And then he jumped off that train. You see what I'm saying? So you see a trend here. You see a trend here where the money goes, Rubin goes, because it's beneficial to him. So he's doing the same thing with Jordan Peterson, even if it's so embarrassing that he speaks to Jordan for like 10 minutes or speaks about Jordan, tells some dumb jokes. We've all seen his crappy stand-up comedy, which his stand-up comedy is basically just, hey, if you have freckles, clap. Yeah, woo, nice. And then you ask another question, and then that leads into some ridiculous joke or whatever. And so we all know that Dave Rubin's stand-up comedy is hilariously stupid, obviously. And we know about that whole kind of thing, and I find it hilarious. I'm hoping that dunking on Dave Rubin can become a bipartisan issue, right? Where we can all clown Dave Rubin for being a cringe lord loser and a hype beast train follower who really doesn't have much thoughts or anything of his own, really, but really following trends. So we've got the left to right wing trend that he flipped on. We've got the Sam Harris trend, which he doesn't really associate himself much with Sam Harris. We've got the Milo train, which he jumped off of, and he is currently aboard the Jordan Peterson train. I don't know if Dave Rubin can be like away from Jordan Peterson for 24 hours without getting too worried and, waking up in his sleep and asking for, what the digits on his bank account is, because obviously he's a sellout and a fucking fraud. But this person also then goes on, because as I told you guys, this person is a huge Jordan Peterson fan. So I want to sort of highlight the ridiculousness and the hilariousness of people who like Jordan Peterson. I just did a video, by the way, exposing him as a fraud for having this grift of a fake college fellowship, which nobody knows what it actually is, and it's more like it's just like a branding deal. Basically, he doesn't even really have anything to do with it. It's like a brand deal, and so he's lying to people, and no one even knows really anything about the fellowship and what it really does. But he's a massive grifter. Dude makes like over $8 million a year, and he will money grab so hard. You know what I'm saying? He paywalls his convo with Zizek, even though he already sold tickets to the audience. So anyways, I want to laugh at this person because I find anybody who likes Jordan Peterson, I have no clue why. Some people will cite that he says, I think even people like Destiny will be like, oh yeah, well, the liberals like to trash him for saying things like, oh, like clean your room and make your bed and stuff. But I don't understand why we're treating him as a gospel singer for saying stuff like that. It doesn't make any sense. Like, to clean your bed, to clean your room and make your bed. Jordan doesn't even clean his room. We've seen that picture of him where he's got a bunch of crap scattered everywhere. He doesn't even do it. But it's hilarious because she's going to go on and rave on and on about Jordan Peterson and just, just totally praise him, like fawn over him for his, he's doing a performance and he's thinking on his own and blah, and he's doing his performance and thinking out his thoughts and telling us his advice and all this sort of stuff. And she never says any substantive thing, like not a single thing is substantive here. So I'm going to try to skip around here at times too.
Claps, and it's sort of this lovely moment actually when you first see him. He's taller than I expected. Very well dressed as always, sort of improvised. Every single lecture that he does is different than the last. And what he does is he goes.
Honestly, I kind of doubt that.
Through the book, 12 Rules, and he sort of riffs on whatever the overarching theme of that chapter is. And so he had gone through the book once, and now he was on his way back, going from the 12th rule to the first. And I think he was on number 8 when he started the lecture that I attended. And it was about creating meaning in one's life. And so he broke down the making of meaning in one's life in its most practical terms, which I think is through the family and through family life. And he focused a lot of the time that he spent talking on discussing how couples should negotiate compromise in their relationship by being precise in their speech. And I thought that was a great and very useful lecture actually for myself in my current relationship. My boyfriend also felt the same way. That was really useful information. And I family and through family life. And he focused a lot of the time that he spent talking on discussing how couples should negotiate compromise in their relationship by being precise in their speech. And I thought that was a great.
Wow. No way. Jordan Peterson said that couples should compromise by being precise in their speech? Well, fuck, dude. I mean, shit. Call up the administrators and the people who give out the Nobel Peace Prize. Award this man right now, because apparently he has figured out he has solved the meaning of life. He has solved every single thing that we've ever questioned. Every single question we've had, he has answered it. Because, wow. Like, it amazes me that people like this are like, they hear something like that, like, wow. Oh my gosh, you're such a genius. Oh my God. You just told me that couples should break down their issues in the most, basic terms and in precise terminology and using the most, sort of understandable phrases. Like, dude, who doesn't know that that's the way to go? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you serious? It's remarkable to me that people think that this is like some sort of a genius, like E equals MC squared or some crap like that. Like, it's something like really crazy that has been figured out or something like that. It's like, it's the dumbest thing ever, and I will never, ever be able to wrap my head around the fact that Jordan Peterson is so insanely popular with morons like this. It's really remarkable. And then she just starts to babble on and on.
A very useful lecture, actually, for myself in my current relationship. My boyfriend also felt the same way. That was really useful information. And I kind of wonder
Very useful information, yeah. You needed Jordan Peterson to tell you that? Are you kidding me, man? Are you serious?
He had, taken a look out at the crowd and maybe decided to talk about that because it would be relevant to us, or relevant to the people who were attending that specific lecture. And it was
This is pretty funny because she's really trying really hard to make it as if Jordan Peterson is like uh doing different shows. She seems to be going out of her way to like make a defense for Jordan Peterson and make it seem like his content isn't stale during his performances and that it's somehow personalized. You can tell that she has some weird need for like, I don't know what you want to call it, I don't know, attention or whatever it may be.
really good. It was extremely useful and powerful to watch Jordan Peterson speak. I mean, we kind of, I think, it is a performance to a degree what he's doing. It's like he's allowing himself to think and explore his own positions and his own ability to give advice based on his knowledge of clinical psychology and his work as a professor.
By the way, you want to know something about his amazing psychology? So I did a video back in the day about how there was a case in Canada where the judge ended up throwing out like the vast majority of his testimony because I forgot exactly what the details were of it, but it was something like had to do with false memories, and he was advocating one thing that didn't make any sense, and so the judge threw it out. He threw out like the vast majority of his testimony. So Jordan Peterson doesn't seem to be any sort of a really big guy on that, especially when you talk about whether he said that he stayed out for 25 days straight. He didn't sleep for 25 days. He said that the picture of snakes fucking was representation of DNA back in way the old days. They somehow knew about the double helix, which was only discovered in 1953 actually specifically. It's just remarkable to me.
And as an author. And he is himself refining his own arguments in front of you through spontaneous speech, spontaneous true speech, precise speech. And it's really...
So you know what that means? That means that someone's just getting up there rambling. Someone's just getting up there and just rambling about advice to give. And people like love it. Like they cherish it. They worship it.
Is a performance like no other. I've never seen anything like it. And you really do kind of feel like if you can focus your attention on him properly, you go on this kind of winding train of thought and stream of consciousness that is familiar to you, obviously, because you've heard Jordan Peterson speak, you know what he's interested in, but also unique because there's no script. And he is very much so creating the meaning of his speech.
Again, you see what I'm saying? Like, why does she keep trying to make it seem like, yo, guys, these Jordan Peterson lectures, they're not all the same. They're all different. They all have their differences, you know? He's personalizing it for us. His speech is not set. Like, she keeps saying it over and over again. It seems weird.
As he is speaking, and I think that's a really cool thing to witness. And it was a really cool thing to witness. So the end of the...
Seems like a perpetual need for, like, I need to know that Jordan Peterson changed up his content for me.
Recommend it. You know, even if you have problems with Jordan Peterson, you're not the hugest Jordan Peterson fan, I would recommend it. It's not political, really. There's nothing about this lecture that was political. It was far more focused on more universal topics that a lot of people can relate to regarding, you know, his knowledge of psychology and religion and that kind of stuff. There was a little bit of metaphysical talk as well, you know, talking of the soul and raising children and how to be a good parent, all things kind of related to the family, which I felt were extremely useful for me at this point in my life and probably was very useful for a lot of the other people who were in the audience. So when it was my time to meet Jordan Peterson, I realized very...
And then it just goes on and bloody.
For me, and a very relevant experience. I feel like I got a lot of really practical advice from Jordan Peterson regarding my relationship and how to conduct myself in my role in the relationship and in what will soon hopefully be my family. So that is probably the most relevant thing that he could have talked about for me. So for me, it was perfect. For others, I mean, maybe they may not like that.
It's just really weird because you can never, when you're talking to a Jordan Peterson fan or, you know, Jordan Peterson himself, he's, you know, famous for never being able to be, you know, pigeonholed in anything at all because he'll always weasel his way out of everything. And anytime you hear a Jordan Peterson fan speak, they're always talking in generalizations. They're never talking in specifics. Now, the one specific given here, I guess, was that she said that the amazing advice, the Einstein-esque advice, the absolute breakthrough advice of that couples should compromise using basic terms or being in their precise speech. You know, it's like, and this is just kind of, you know, wobbling on and on and on and fawning over, this, you know, love this advice and blah, blah, blah. Always talking in generalizations, never talking in legit terms, in specific terms, always generalizations, always generalizations. And I find it hilarious. I don't know why anybody would be a Jordan Peterson fan, and I find it absolutely hilarious. And this person is obviously a clown.